Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode, we're going to be taking a look at a piece by the career 3D artist known as Will Toulan. This episode, we're going to talk a little bit about implied motion, we're going to talk about energy through texture, and we're also going to talk about the divine forces of our natural world. So let's jump right into it. First see this work, you see what appears to be either a cloth or a wave here, really kind of set in center scene. And this is set really kind of against this fluorescent orange backing there. And that disc really catches the eye, and of course it's also really gives us that sense of flow, a very kind of chaotic, very energetic first impression here. And so in the in the realm of color, we see mainly a kind of white foundation here with a little bit of blue and then the rarest accents of that orange through those natural motifs as well as that flat orange disc there. And these are all really defined through mostly a dark on light contrast. Of course, you have that pearl, that kind of marble backing there. So any contrast is going to be a dark on light contrast there. So really nice introduction. Really love the colors here as well. It's that fluorescent orange definitely catches the eye. It reminds me of a sunset in many ways. So in the realm of texture, we also see mainly the kind of soft, smooth, and silky. That's the main kind of things that I get here. And I say this because of the kind of flow of the fabric here, of what appears to be fabric. And this, of course, gives us that sense of texture, that kind of roiling bits. We also have texture in the background as well, also quite important. And so all of those give us a very dynamic visual experience, of course, adds some vivid visual energy as well. And so you'll notice just the constant curves with the throughout the work at hand. And so we see this, of course, curves here, of course, curves in the kind of macro literal form. You have curves even within these kind of roiling textures within the disc as well. So yeah, constant curves always gives us a sense of implied motion as well as that kind of vivid visual energy that we talked about. And so like we said, we give this kind of flow within the work at hand, and that really invigorates the spatial composition. It gives us an amazing visual experience, and it leaves the eye no place for rest. It is a very flowing and a very moving piece, so it really catches the eye for sure. And so I wanted to compare this primarily to The Great Wave, and Hokusai The Great Wave is a very historic piece. And so even the background, I actually just noticed this, that kind of white background also feels reminiscent. We're not going to talk about symbolism of the Great Wave or anything like that, Fuji, nothing like that. What I want you guys to pay attention to are these constant curves, but more importantly, that sense of kind of potential energy that's about to crash down. So we certainly see that. I see this kind of like a mirrored version of the Great Wave, where those curves give us this incredible sense of energy, also adds some weight to the spatial composition, and of course there's this sense that it is crashing down onto the left side, as with Great Waves, it is crashing on the right side. So really wanted to connect that, and I surely saw some influences there. And so it's hard to say whether this is a wave or a cloth. I do see a wave here, although the literal kind of texture or elemental context of this work at hand, I think it is more so of a cloth, but it does feel quite reminiscent of a wave, of course. And we see these natural motifs throughout the work at hand as well. These kind of orange flowers definitely catch the eye, and they kind of peak at the top as well. Almost looks like spilling paint in a way, but with that in mind, of course, we get these natural tones, these kind of natural themes as well. It kind of feels like we're aligned with the natural cosmos or the natural order of the cosmos, because we see this display of energy and we see this transfer of energy as well, of course, through the wave, which is seen in so many different forms, whether it's sound, whether it's the literal ocean, so many different examples of the wave for sure. And so with this in mind, I also see this as kind of like a sun. It feels very reminiscent of the early nimbuses or the early halos. And so we see that kind of flat, radiant disk that may remind some of the sun. So it does give us kind of these divine degrees here. Like I said, it reminds me of a sunset, and anything that mimics the solar sun or the symbolism of the sun, it's always trying to give us a sense of enlightenment, give us a sense of just these divine degrees. So we certainly see that for sure. In this piece, I believe it was made in Midjourney, although I'm not 100% sure. It is an AI generative art piece, so it was made. And he said he did a little bit of color correction, so technically a mixed media piece, although not too many edits on that. So really nice work. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys like the connection to the Great Wave. I surely saw that whenever I first noticed this piece. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We talked a little bit about implied motion. We talked about texture, and we talked about the divine forces of our natural worlds, AI generative art, and everything in between. Hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.